Hello, all, and welcome back to a new episode of Movies and Us, a weekly gathering place filled with conversations about movies, stories, and connection. My name is Jennifer Hahn.
And I'm Sarah Callan.
And today we are going to be reviewing the film Death of a Unicorn. And we are not alone today. We're joined by two very special guests. This is our first time on the pod. We're so excited for them to be here. Introducing the Hannas. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah.
Sure. So I'm Matt Hanna, and this is my wife,
Hanna.
She didn't change her last name yet, but
that would be embarrassing.
And we have a podcast called Horror Hour with the Hannas about horror movies. Get it with the Hannas because
original.
Name's great. And we've been doing it for probably 2 years now. Basically, we do a weekly review / discussion about a specific horror movie that we want to watch. We went down the route of horror movies because I would say we are both like film people first and then like horror people second. But we felt that it's like kind of an underrepresented genre when it comes to a lot of like thematic analysis and a lot of, I think, artistic discussion. Mostly because, there's been time periods of just like slop and time periods of really good stuff. So we are trying to go through all of that and really like dive deeper into them. I like to describe us as like we're kind of like your fun English teacher just for horror movies. So we argue, we joke about things, we go on fun tangents, kind of like relaxed, but with a big focus on thematic analysis, or like what's a movie trying to doing? How does the form of the movie equal the function of how it's trying to affect us, what it's trying to show us? So that's my spiel.
Love it. Love it. And with your fun English teachers, lots of strong opinions and passion,
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
In whatever direction is essential. So I'm intrigued to hear all of our thematic analyses of Death of a Unicorn.
There might not be much, but
I know, right?
We'll do our best.
Yeah,
we'll make very on the nose.
Yeah.
We can critique it, so.
Yes. Okay, Sarah, do you want to kick us off with an IMDb summary for Death of a Unicorn?
Sure. Father-daughter duo Elliot and Ridley hit a unicorn with their car and bring it to the wilderness retreat of a mega-wealthy pharmaceutical CEO.
All right. And in Movies and Us tradition, we like to start off with our one-sentence summaries for the film that we're going to be talking about today. So let's go around and share some of our one-sentence summaries. Matt or Hannah, do you want to share yours first as our guest?
I got mine.
Okay, we're
I'm
ready
to go. I just wrote this. Yeah, so half creature feature, half poorly executed social commentary, half family drama that they forgot to write.
Nice.
That's three halves, right?
That is three halves.
Yeah.
Which also, it works for this movie, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now you know how I feel about this movie.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it. I love it. This is gonna be a fun conversation. I have a feeling.
Good.
Yeah. Hannah, what is your one-sentence summary?
Mine's a little less fun, but Paul Rudd hits a unicorn with his car and then spends the entire movie sucking up to his rich bosses at the expense of both his daughter and the unicorn's well-being.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. Like, no lies detected here. That is exactly what happens.
Oh, it's so good. Sarah, what is your one-sentence summary for Death of a Unicorn?
Mine is, only the pure in heart can become art history majors.
Hey, I like that one.
Nice. Well done.
Or whatever degree, undecided, right?
Yeah. My one-sentence summary is, desperately needing to go back and tell my 10-year-old self that the answer to all my problems was unicorn blood, not proactive. Okay, well, let's share our thoughts. I think we know Matt's thoughts for sure, but some of our other thoughts about Death of a Unicorn and how we received this film. Did it work for us? Did it not? And we won't include spoilers in this section. So, Hannah, do you want to share your thoughts about Death of a Unicorn?
Yeah, my thoughts are pretty close to Matt's.
Nice.
I thought there were definitely a lot of moments where I did laugh, and I think I come in with like a bias because I love Will Poulter a lot. So every time he spoke, I laughed, really. But beyond that, I felt like the social commentary was about as deep as a puddle, and they really could have gone a lot farther with it. And I think the way that the film wraps up just is not an effective way to execute that commentary either.
Yep. As deep as a puddle is Fabulous. I love that. We need that on like shirts and mugs and so yeah, well done. Okay. Matt, expand on your thoughts.
Expand. Okay.
Yes.
So going in, first of all, I'm going to say my favorite part about this whole movie was the trailer for Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning that played beforehand. I was like ready to stand up and clap during that. I was hype. I was like, I'm glad I'm here with my AMC A list just for that. So got to get that out of the way first. But that's hard to beat. Unfortunately, like that's a good trailer. So this movie is frustrating for me because I'm thinking, I'm going to get like kind of a freaky unicorn movie. I'm down for some mythical beasts. That'll be fun. But all we end up getting out of this is like a pretty poorly executed creature feature, which is just like, all right, I've seen that 100 times. And like you just copy pasted some unicorns on. I get social commentary that is really, who's it for? Who are we preaching to? Everyone who's watching this can be like, yeah, rich man bad. But like you just told me that straight up. There's nothing, like no thought that goes into it, which frustrates me. And then just kind of like this weird little family drama that doesn't go anywhere and doesn't really get resolved. They pretend like it's resolved, but I'm going to say Paul Rudd was not redeemable. And Hannah convinced me of that when we talked about this. So that's just how I'm feeling. I don't think that's a spoiler to say he's not redeemable. This movie's hard to spoil, if I'm being honest.
There's just no character development.
There's no arc. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear, Hannah, your rant about Paul. Paul Rudd.
Yeah, I'll let
Rudd.
I'll let you take care of that when we get there. We do love Paul Rudd, but
not here.
Yeah.
not here. Yeah, that'd be great. Once we're past the spoiler, go in, pop off. I'm excited. Sarah, your thoughts about Death of a Unicorn?
Yeah, basically the exact same. I wanted to like this movie. I like the idea of this movie. I'm always here for like an eat the rich social commentary as long as it has something to say, which this really doesn't. And then I like the idea of taking unicorns and they're not this like cute or beautiful, majestic creature. And instead they become like killing machines when they're threatened. Like, that's really cool. I'm here for this. But the film doesn't really execute either of those parts very well. And so while I like the idea of it, and I think there are some good attempts here, it just does not come together well. Like, it was a fine movie experience, but like, I'm not looking to watch this again. And honestly, I don't even think people should go see this movie. Like, go watch something else. There's some other really good stuff out right now. So just spend your money elsewhere.
Go see Mickey 17. Better social commentary.
I think that might already be out of theaters.
You're right.
Go see Black Bag. Go see Black Bag. Yes.
Okay.
Someone 10 out of 10 would recommend. I'm like, yeah, we're
it's so much fun.
I'll add it to the list.
It's so funny because before going into this film, I was rolling up to the movie. I didn't know like much about this film at all other than like the movie poster. And so I just see Black Bag right next to the theater door, and that's like an hour in, and I just love that movie and I just watched it. So I'm like, oh man, I want to go see Black Bag again. I did not know how bad this movie was going to be. I made the wrong choice. I had the only chunk of time that I had available to watch this movie was like a Friday at like 4 p.m. or a Thursday at 4 p.m. I paid $14 for this movie, and I just want to say I want my money back. $14. It was that bad. The thing is with this movie is it feels like a Chat GPT AI generated script. You know what I mean? Like it.
Agreed.
Pop off, Matt. Yeah.
No, I completely. I was gonna say that, and then I was like, even that feels like too much credit because you might get a little creativity out of there. Yeah. Like I'm being mean. This is just a movie I've seen. I've seen this movie so many times, except I get it was copy pasted different people. Like we get some decent performances with what they had to work with because I like some of the actors in it. But you're right. Like I was thinking, this feels like it was they dusted off a script and they were like, yeah, throw a unicorn on there. Here you go.
Yeah.
Like somebody go make this, please. Like we need some cash in March.
And I feel like the only people who's like the reason people signed on to this is because they were like, that sounds like it'll be a fun filming experience. Like there couldn't have been more to it than that.
Exactly. Or, I could see when like CGI was becoming like more advanced, like getting to just see like unicorns could have been really cool and just a spectacle of it. Like if this came out like like a decade or two ago. I'm like, maybe could be really exciting. It's like, oh my God, unicorns running around. Like, very fun just to see the spectacle. But the thing is, it's not funny, it's not scary, and it's not heartwarming. So I'm like, you didn't do any of the things that a movie needs to do. I either want to be terrified out of my mind, I want my heart to get ripped out of my chest, like wonderfully, or I want to be laughing. And it doesn't do any of those. So it just feels like such a like nothing movie. And it was interesting seeing the movie poster again after this movie, because I think that everything that this movie is you can see in the movie poster. It's so obvious. It's on the nose. The tagline's not funny. And it like shows too much of the concept too early. You know what I mean? So yeah, it'll be fascinating to talk about this movie, I think, to just like really tease apart all the things that don't work about it. Because I think we're trying to find something
Most of it
redeemable.
doesn't.
Yeah,
I just did a Leo point meme at you because you called it a nothing movie, which is the exact word I used when I walked out of the theater. And Hannah and a friend of ours was like, "What does that mean?" And I was like, "I'm like trying my best to explain what a nothing movie is." So I'm really happy to hear someone else use that language. So that was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
That's wild. That's so cool. But it's funny because I'm like trying to think about what the last. It's hard to be a nothing movie. Like, that is a
It
difficult
is, yeah.
task.
It's just like it says nothing. It provides like very little value. Like it's just like you said, something I've seen before, except worse. Like
Yeah.
I'm sorry. At least it like again, performances fine. I think Will can never say his name. Help me out, Hannah.
Will Poulter.
Poulter.
I might be.
He's
saying it
funny
wrong,
as
but-
hell. Always. I'm happy to see him on screen. But like outside of that, it's not doing anything. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
I will say there were moments I laughed, like mostly at him, but you know,
Yeah.
and that's how you felt too. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. He
But
brings
overall,
the
like-
most electric performance and like the most charismatic performance. I think everybody else
Mhm.
is like, again, things we've seen before a million times, but he is someone we've seen before, like a character type we've seen before, but he just does it in a way that has a little bit more pizzazz, a little bit more like substance. That's probably generous. A little bit more flair than the other performances, but
Yeah.
we'll get into it. Okay, well, let's give a spoiler alert so we can fully go in on all the things that don't work about this film. It'll be maybe interesting to see if we can like roundtable at the end, like what's one thing that worked really well for you, just as an exercise, you know?
For sure. I have
you
one, so we're good.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Death of the Unicorn, couple movies to go watch. Mickey 17. And if it's out in theaters, go watch that. Black Bag, highly recommend. Go watch that. But if you want the full context of the rest of this conversation and what makes a nothing movie, then I guess go watch Death of the Unicorn. Okay. Yeah, so let's dive in. What's some of the big things that stand out to you around like maybe structural or storytelling pieces of this film that could have been better or could be a rewrite? One thing that Sarah and I like to do on roasts of movies is we'll just rewrite the movie.
We've done that
Love
too.
that. Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, here's some tips like for the director listening. We did it for Smile. I don't know if you've seen Smile or Smile
no,
2.
I haven't.
We hated Smile. And
Hated.
we were like, there's no way there should be a sequel. Here's what needs to be done to fix all of these things.
And
all of them were
things
fixed in Smile 2. And Smile 2 was like good. It was weird. You can go listen to our episode on it if you want. But
It's awesome.
like it was everything we said. I was like, he listened. Like he clearly was tuned in and changed it. I want my writing credit. That's insane. But
Oh, that must have been such
yeah.
a satisfying experience to watch on screen of just like ding. You just hear like the dings in your
Yeah.
head.
and the movie was
And
actually like
that one.
good. Maybe not, it wasn't great, but it was good. And I was like, I'm enjoying this compared
Yeah.
to the
Heck
first
yeah.
one. So
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Love that.
go ahead, Hannah. Tell us what you think first, structurally.
Yeah, so I just feel like if you're going to have this moment where the characters, like, where she's forgiving her father and then the unicorns are forgiving her father, allegedly, you need to build to that and give them a reason to forgive him. And the movie just simply doesn't do that effectively. There's like a line where he's like, I was just trying to make money because I wanted to make sure you were fine because your mom said I needed to take care of you. I didn't even think of that on my own. Your mom had to tell me that. And like, then she's like, I forgive you. And the unicorns are like, yes, sir, we're forgiven. And it just like, it is completely unearned because the entire movie he's just like bootlicking these rich people. He doesn't care about his daughter's experience the entire movie. He's just ignoring her and pushing her to the side. And even as the movie goes on, like we're an hour into it, and he has made no strides or progress. It was very much like a 180, but not even a 180. Like just like a 40 degrees change. And that was enough for them. There's just like no substance to their relationship at all.
And I think his to like add on, his change is very self-serving still.
Yes.
Where if the commentary is going to be class consciousness, he's still not really gaining it in any way. It's more just like, well, I just need to, the whole time he's like, I'm just doing what's good for me and mine. And that's still what he's doing at the end. So like,
yep.
And maybe that's Hollywood not really following through on a whole class consciousness story, because, you know, sometimes they like to, sometimes they don't. But, you know, Hollywood's still a lot of like rich folk that are in that club that we're not in, you know. So we'll get a little communist on them with this discussion. But
yeah.
So I'll say I want to talk about the themes in general, just and how the social commentary really bothers me. I think it goes back to Knives Out, which I love. Knives Out's great. I think post Knives Out, a lot of people kind of wanted to make these like rich, bad, eat the rich movies. Fine. But like, I don't think they realize what makes like Knives Out so successful. And it's a couple things. One, it's a really good movie and a really good murder mystery before that. But like the way it critiques these people is very much like that entire rich household is like all political spectrum. But when it comes down to it, they choose wealth and family over everything. I really have enjoyed that critique. And it's also very much in their actions and not just spoken to us. Where in this movie, it's like these characters are just like, oh yeah, the government bureaucrats are going to get in the way of our progress and our making money. And like, they just, everything they jump in is just like about greed and all this stuff. And it's like, who are we making this for? Like, everyone seeing this movie is most likely already going to agree with you on this. So like, it ends up coming across like kind of preachy, but also it doesn't even like go far enough with it. Cause it's just like, here you go. This is, yeah, like, you know, fuck rich folk. Am I right? Like they are greedy. The pharmacy industry is scary. And just they just say, they wink at the camera the whole time. And like, sure, I agree with you, but like, give me something to chew on, please. Sorry, I'm long-winded on this one. It's just
no, it's good because you're right. There's nothing there, and so I almost wish. I mean, obviously, there needs to be some meat there. Like you need to be saying something of substance, and they're just not. And so I think two different things, kind of off of both of what you were saying, is the in addition to everything you hated about the ending, Hannah, and I agree with everything that you said, the other part that bothered me is the unicorn jailbreak.
Yeah.
What?
Wait.
What are we doing? Where did this come from? What?
It makes no sense. Like,
none.
Like you said, I don't know where it comes from. I don't know if they were like, we just want a fun button for the end of this film.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they were like, Get Out, you know, brings in this moment where the police could arrest him.
For real, like,
yeah,
a thought, and then they're just like, yeah, sure, we'll throw that in there.
Irrelevantly, I just couldn't believe the movie was still going on at that point. And this movie's only like an hour and 40, hour and 50, and I was like, have we been here for 2.5 hours?
We could have shaved at least 20 minutes and like 3 plot points out of here.
You know, and I will say, I think I gave Knives Out. I'm not complaining about that movie. I think that one led to it. The one that I think really led to this, though, was that Don't Look Up movie. Do you remember that?
Ugh. Like, I hate that movie so much.
And that's the one that's just like, yeah, like, who are we making this for? You're just like yelling at me about a thing I already agree with. And like, I don't know. That's the one. And we've had a bunch since then. We've had some good ones. Parasite's a great movie, obviously. Like,
yeah.
But when I think people want to make a cheap buck, the Menu, I like The Menu. Yeah. That's one that's like teetering. It does just enough to, I think, justify itself, and I enjoy it. But I'm worried we're going to be in this era of poor social commentary movies for a while when Hollywood or whoever wants to make a quick buck. But I'm here for it when we have, you know, some good directors and good auteurs trying to make it. So like every movie Jordan Peele's made has been great. The themes have been like layered and conflicting and not put in your brain for you. Like, it's not spoken directly to the camera with a wink.
And
So,
horror's such a great medium to explore a lot of those themes because, like, society is horrifying sometimes, and,
Yes,
like, we need to
exactly.
process that in some way. And so, what this movie missed is that it makes the unicorns the foe because they're killing everyone and whatnot, right? I would have loved to see, like, Paul Rudd is taking the rich people out by the end of the movie. I think that would have been really satisfying. And instead, we get like the unicorns taking the rich out, which I think just misses the point. Like the whole bit, I think would be an interesting to see him like brown nosing and bootlicking, and then by the end realize like, no, like let me murder all of you. You know what I mean? And have that be the piece. And the unicorns are just chilling by the end. You know that they're a vehicle to begin the story, but actually the problems are between the classes and the ways that we have been under systems of control and oppression, that the world is run by the rich. And like sometimes we're frustrated and we need to deal with it somehow. And also just seeing Paul Rudd take people out would be like really fascinating too.
Yeah.
In a horror movie. But I think that's another miss too. It's not the opposition isn't humans versus angry unicorns where we've like taken their child and like used them for our goods. Like that's the wrong set of two teams against each other, you know?
Yeah, and I think it like also messes up the messaging because like the rich people are the bad guys. So don't try and transfer some of the blame or villainous characteristics onto the beautiful unicorns.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I was rooting for the unicorns. Like,
I was too.
let's
Yeah.
freaking go.
I think that might be the intent.
I think you're supposed to root for the unicorns. And I was reading something that the director said about how he views unicorns, and I think he very clearly has like the right idea, wrong execution to me, because he says like historically unicorns are symbolic of our own corruption. They're symbolic of the thing that to our great shame we destroy as a society. He said it's funny because in some of these conversations, people are like, I didn't know unicorns had to do with class commentary or socialist commentary. And like, well, yeah, they do. They always did. That's the point. So I understand that choice. I understand from that lens why the unicorns are doing the murder, I guess. But again, I just don't think that execution is effective, like we've said, and it would mean more coming from Paul Rudd having like the full character arc.
I think it's hard I agree. I think it's hard for that kind of stuff to get greenlit because then the message literally comes out as like, yeah, like murder billionaires, get the guillotines out. Like, and I think it's tough for like a mainstream Hollywood to like go with that. I think an executive producer is going to be like, oh yeah, you know what? That might be me. So
yeah, the rich people don't want you to make a movie about eating the rich people.
Which is why I think a movie like Mickey 17 or Parasite or whatever, we talked about this earlier. It's made in Hollywood, but it's made by a South Korean director, right? They're more likely, I think, to go that route and not care, where I think there's going to be a little more influence. It also is like, I guess the difference where Hollywood is what I would say is very like liberal and not exactly like leftist or like left leaning. And so there's a different mindset about this, I would say, which is like, we can fix this versus like kill them. Like, yeah. So, and then, I mean, I guess both have merit. In this one, though, I think it comes across as just like kind of lame. It's the best way I could put it.
And I think it's interesting that you've brought up Parasite a couple of times because Bong Joon-ho is so good at creature features. And those films are usually, all of his films are so interesting and layered, and every character has depth, and you can see the reading on the surface of the film, but then there's so many layers beneath it too, and you can see how all of these different things are connected to each other. Whereas this film It is literally, like you said, Matt, it is telling you what it's saying, and then it's winking at the camera, and it just does that over and over and over again. There is no depth to anything that happens. Everything is surface. So there's really nothing to dig into or mine in this. You're literally being spoon-fed all of it, which makes for a really uninteresting movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other aspect of it is like, if you're not going to give us substance, that's fine. We don't need substance. We just need to be entertained sometimes. So then make the rich family just really funny. You know what I mean? Like really big personality, really clever dialogue and burns back and forth as they're bantering or whatnot. Like, I think if they played that up a little bit, then like, fine. If I'm entertained, I'll be happy about it. I was thinking a lot about the movie Saltburn. I don't know if you got a chance to watch that one yet. Those personalities are so larger than life that you're just intrigued to like spend time with this like really chaotic twisted family, and that's fun too, of like getting to see inside of their world and all their strange behaviors, and kind of that intrigue is also engaging enough, and then to see them get taken out at the end would be really fun too. So I think that like even just playing up the style, like if there's no substance, playing up the style, playing up the cleverness of the interactions between just big, colorful personalities, which like there are a lot of in The Rich, play that up. That's also fine. We'll be entertained. We'll be fine with it.
I think that's why Will's character, Shep, works the best, because I think they do that the most with him.
He's also playing a character that like everybody knows.
Yeah.
Like kind of Nepo baby frat boy that's like, I'm an ideas guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a doer, but like, and maybe that's a moment that I think is like kind of funny and maybe less surface level when he comes in. He's like, yeah, print those out. We'll present these together. And then he's like, I'm going to go take care of this thing, and just like walks away. And I think another example of it less surface level, to give it compliments, is them just like abusing the resources like that they don't need anymore of the unicorn. Like they've already cured themselves, and yet they're still drinking it. He's still putting it, like injecting it, snorting it, smoking it, like, and eating it. Yeah. Geez, the medium rare unicorn. And that's like funnier to me and better commentary, I would say, but that's about as good as it gets.
Yeah.
And I kept waiting for their overconsumption to have some sort of a negative effect, and it never comes. And so I think, again, like, you have this idea, and it's not a bad idea, but you just don't do anything with it. Like, them having some sort of negative effect because they're abusing these resources that are limited, there's an idea there.
Have either of you seen the movie Sorry to Bother You?
Oh, yes. I love that movie.
I really enjoyed it. We saw it in theaters. That is the tone of which I thought this movie should have gone. I kind of wanted like freaky mystical unicorn movie, and like I this is a full rewrite, but that is how I felt this movie should have been. Like a little out there, even maybe surrealist isn't the right word, but just like a weird movie about unicorns. And maybe that's the route, they start consuming too many unicorns, and then some weird bodily functions start happening to them because of it. Like that is like, you're right. It's like a Chekhov's gun, but it's a failed Chekhov's gun with them over consuming. So that's my thoughts.
Instead, they touch the unicorn horn and they just see like splashes of color.
They see like, I went on YouTube and typed in like trippy video to watch while I'm on drugs, and that's what I saw. Like it was just like straight up stock footage.
Yeah, literally.
I'm sorry. I'm like,
I didn't know, really though.
So bad.
If you want them to have this beautiful transcendent experience, just don't show us what they're seeing if you can't capture that.
And people have captured it, so that's what's frustrating. It's like, I don't know, if everything felt cheap and lazy, and I'm frustrated about it because I feel like I wasted my time. But I was in the theater, so I was happy about that. You can't beat being in the movie theater, even when it's bad.
The other like somewhat issue that I have with this movie is like just visually the unicorns. There's so many close-up of them, but they don't look good. Like the CGI doesn't look good. So I'm like, do a wide shot. You know what I mean? Like do the like Nosferatu thing. Like we don't really see Nosferatu close up at all till like the final act. You know what I mean? Just see like silhouettes of the unicorns or just their shadows. I think that would have been like really fun and save yourself some money, but like we see this like straight close-up shot on like minute 10 of the movie, and it looks terrible. I'm like, oh no.
Yes.
They didn't even strategically use their money. Yeah. So
Listen,
I
it
think
is 2025. Jurassic Park came out in 1993. Pirates of the Caribbean came out in the 2000s. There's a couple of them. If you can't get close to one of those movies, like you got to go back to the drawing board when it comes to CGI.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. I rewatched both of those in the last year or so, and I was amazed. And even on my like new, modern, really nice TV, they still look great.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
Incredible.
why do movies today look worse than these? Something is wrong here.
So my understanding is it's a level of pre-production, and it's like, so what a lot of movies are doing now is because they've got so reliant on fixing it in post, they don't block and light their shots with that in mind. With both Jurassic Park and Pirates of the Caribbean, sorry, that they had a complete plan. How do we want this to look? What's the art direction? How are the characters going to look? When you go with a Marvel movie nowadays, a lot of times they don't have that planned until they're in post. So it's going to look weightless. It's not going to work out. It also helps that, Jurassic Park is directed by Spielberg, who is just a savant and knows exactly what he wants to get, pays to do the practicals as well. But Jurassic Park was just very, very well thought out. Not Jurassic Park, excuse me. Pirates of the Caribbean was very well thought out from the beginning. So that's the trick. You have to spend that time.
Yeah, it's crazy looking at the design of Davy Jones and being like, yeah, that was 20 years ago and it looks incredible. There's so much texture to how he looks, the way the tentacles move, just when he's talking. Like, they don't need to be doing all that. And they are, compared to this shit where you're like, okay, this like blurry ass looking unicorn, sure.
That like doesn't even scale itself correctly between shots.
No,
Right? Oh, I was so bothered the whole time. And I wish that I had like watched this movie with somebody else, because the whole time I was going, is it just me? Am I the problem? Because this looks awful. Like, why are we doing this?
There's another thing I need to ask both of you about, because I asked Hannah and she agreed, and I needed to see. There was a moment in this movie where it was nighttime and then all of a sudden it was daytime. And I was really confused. And I was like, did I miss something? Okay, so we're on the same page. Cool.
That's one of my
like, I'm going to leave. She jumps out a window, it's night, and then she lands and it's noon.
Yes. Like,
okay.
What in the
I was
world?
like, did something get cut?
Yeah.
It felt like it.
Like, I don't know the last time I've seen a movie that something like that has happened, where it felt like that bad of an error. Or they were just like, we don't really know what to do. Just go with it. We don't have time to do reshoots.
Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like. I did wonder, and I mean, I did not pay close enough attention to this movie to actually test this theory, but my only thought was like, did they have blackout curtains in that room? And this fight inside of the house just took so much longer than I thought that it did, and they were really in there like all night, but the curtains were blacked out, so then they couldn't see that the sun had risen. But like, if you're gonna do that better and have like them open the door and be like, oh my gosh, it's day, and then they like jump. Like, there's a way that you can make that make sense, but it felt like somebody cut something and didn't bother to make it make sense.
I thought I had like a stroke, and I was out for 10 minutes and then came up, I was like, wait, where are we?
Yeah.
I was like, did I black out? Did I miss something? And I was worried.
I'm so curious as to what they cut out. Because I feel like they had to have cut something out, or that's just nonsense. But where they pick up from makes perfect sense, plot-wise. So I don't know what could have been there. Yeah. It's an enigma.
And I would normally not go like CinemaSins on this and complain about continuity errors, but this one was just like confusing.
So glaring.
That I like, it really took me out of it.
Hey, I love finding continuity errors. It's a weird thing that I will do, and so I am here for it. Any of those that exist, please bring them to the table, because I love spotting that stuff.
I'll do it for fun. It's usually not something I'm going to use to complain about the movie, but in this situation, I think I have to. So.
Yes.
And it's indicative of the other issues with this film.
Just laziness, I guess, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Yeah, it was a time. That's what I'll say. I'll say my nice thing about it, though, because we're talking about
Okay,
CGI
yes.
unicorns. I thought the art direction for the unicorns was good. I think what they wanted to do with the unicorns was a fun idea, having this, like, while they were angry and evil, be like a black, dark unicorn, scary horns, and then to like switch back to like white at the end. I didn't dislike that at all. I liked the baby unicorn. I liked how it, in theory, how they wanted it to look. It's just, when you underpay a VFX studio and ask for a quick turnaround, this is what you're going to get. So I don't know. Did we like that? Or were we a fan of like what they were going for with the unicorns? Or is that just me?
I wish that they had explained anything.
No.
There seemed to have been some sort of attempt at world building with these unicorns, but I don't feel like any of it really made sense or was explained, because they also showed like the Northern Lights a bunch. And so I wanted to know how those fit into the larger mythology of the unicorn. And so I think I don't mind what they did. I think visually that's really interesting. I'm here for, under the cover of night unicorns. That's super fun. But I don't know. I wish that there was a little more depth to the mythology around the unicorns. Like, if we're going to do this, if we're going to show all of these interesting visual things, make it make sense and make it play some sort of a role in the film. But none of those things really add value to the story, but I think they could have if this had been better written.
They were too busy screaming at you about the pharmaceutical industry.
It's true. They had limited time. You only have so much time for screaming. The unicorns have to take a back seat.
Exactly.
You had to be spoon-fed pureed pumpkin, Too busy, your mouth is full.
Yeah, they were jingling keys for us, right? Yeah, guys, like, we know that insulin cost was $150 an ounce right now. Like, am I right? That's terrible. Yeah. Right? You like us, right?
I really wanted the unicorns to have like more cool, just like tactics and like superpowers. Like, I thought that the horn as a blade was so fun and so cool. I just wanted to see what else did the unicorns do. I just think a whole movie of just unicorns taking people out with like all their tricks would just be really fun to see. Like,
That's what
I don't
I'm
even
saying.
need I don't cut all the pumpkin puree, pharmaceutical stuff, and just give me like spectacle, straight spectacle. I'll eat that up too,
Yeah, I think that's the issue, is they didn't know which way they were going, and then they shoved it all in, and none of it works when you're not building to any of it. Like, if you're just putting the basics in, it's not going to do it.
Yeah, that's like the creature feature issue.
Yeah.
It's just,
it's so.
and I feel like
it basically becomes a unicorn break-in movie, which just
that's exactly.
if I want to watch a break-in movie, I'll go watch a real break-in movie. I wanted to watch killer unicorns, not just like some guys breaking into a house for a horn.
Yeah.
They should have done some like magic at least, not just at the end. Like, shoot some lightning from that thing. I don't know.
Yes. Yes. Or like the hind legs can do something, or like, and also the other thing that I think would have been neat is it was cool that they had two unicorns that like both parents are present. We love the nuclear family of this unicorn. Like, that's great. But I thought that was really cool, because the other version of this, which would even be more stripped down, is just like mama comes back, like mama unicorn, you know what I mean? But no, mom and dad are here and showing up for vengeance. And so just to see the unicorns like work together strategically, they like set up traps for the rich folks that they're taking out, I think would have been really fun too. Like, one of them goes and gets the, like, I don't know, the lawnmower over here, and then like the other one turns, something where you get to see them actually like partnering and strategically outsmarting the humans would have been really satisfying as well.
I'm just realizing there is a demand for a unicorn movie, though. I didn't know. Like, internally, I have a demand for seeing a unicorn on screen. I was unaware. And like, I started thinking about like the first Harry Potter movie, and there's like a unicorn that gets blood drank. I was like, that unicorn, like, unicorns are cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in. I don't know how I want to see it, but like, somebody can make it and I'm going to go watch. So
yeah, just don't do this.
Just don't do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think another issue with this film, to your point, is we came for the unicorns. That's why we came here. And so the first, I don't know, hour-ish of this movie is mostly just people talking and having uninteresting conversations. And so I wish that had been cut to like a quick 20 minutes, and then we get the rest of the movie over an hour long to see all of those things of the unicorns and really play it up like a horror movie of the unicorns start strategically working together to take people out one by one. And then it's like, oh, who's next? Oh, what's going, like, you can do so much with that. But just the good unicorn kill piece of it comes too late. So then it just doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm. I have a question for everybody. Who do you think this movie is for? Because I do wonder if it got like wrecked by the marketing, like kind of like targeted segmentation in how they're trying to create something that's like packaged for a audience type. Because part of me had like, it felt like this movie was like a Disney Channel original movie. Like there's like a family aspect to it of the like really cheesy feel good parts, but also like the horror doesn't really go very far either. So there, like, was there a desire to have to like scale that back to make it palatable for you to take your family with like older kids to like go do something? You know what I mean? Like I wonder if there's the original version of this movie and then it just got like wrecked like iteration after iteration to just be a nothing movie because they're trying to play to a certain audience. I don't know who it's for, but there's this kind of like Hollywood gleam and like gloss all over it that I think plays often for like that like family movie. Like take it like mom, dad, grandma, and like your teen like middle schoolers to like go see this movie, you know?
Yeah, I truly have no idea. I like the question, but I can't answer it based off anything that we got from it.
Yeah.
I was asking the same question in the theaters, like, who is this for? Like, I'm going to take a crack at it. Hannah and I saw this trailer 100 times when we went to see other horror movies. And I have a horror podcast. We talk about horror movies. Horror people will watch any horror movie. I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to trash our audience, but like they will
Careful,
watch,
Buster.
They will watch everything, bad, good. They've been through a lot of bad. They've been through a lot of good. So like maybe they just said, well, like if we market this weird little movie as a horror movie and like, it's got some blood and guts, like we'll get that. We'll make our bag. We'll make back whatever. I don't know what the budget was on this thing. But.
I also just looked it up. This movie is rated R. So if they wanted younger people to see it, they did that wrong. And if you want it to be like horror people who just love some blood and guts, you needed to do that more. Well, instead, they don't do anything more.
If you just get them in the seats, that's all that matters. They're not caring about a critical review here. They're just like,
that's true,
right? One butts in seats.
Well, and what's interesting is I also went and saw this in the middle of the day, and there was behind me, it was a dad and two teenage daughters that came to this, and I do wonder if they were trying to make this for the broadest possible audience, which is just not something that you should ever do when you're making a movie. Because if you think your audience is everyone, then it's actually no one. And I feel like that's what we get in this film. And I don't know, the movies that we love, Knives Out, Parasite, these have a very specific vision, a very specific thing to say. Like, it is so clear what this creator was trying to do with this film. And with Death of a Unicorn, there's none of that. There's no clear central vision. There's no clear central voice. Like, there's nothing special or unique about this film. And I think that I don't know, that affects your movie-going experience.
I totally agree. So, and anyone out there that's listening to this to learn how to write a movie, that's your answer right there, right? Take that to heart.
Yes, have an audience vision. And something to say.
Have an idea. Have something to say. If you don't have something to say, it's not worth making. There's something, an intent, really, right? That's it. Maybe not something to say, but you said if you want to be entertaining, if you want to be funny, do those things.
Yeah, you don't have to have anything to say if you have style too. That's fine. You know what I mean? We love like a
bonus points if you do all of it.
sexy spy movie. Like, that's fun too. There's no substance there. Or, like, he's not really trying to say anything. He's just like, come along for a fun journey with like hot people who like have punchy dialogue. And I'm like, I'm here for that too.
That's a purpose. Like, there needs to be some sort of purpose, whether it's saying something or it's just supposed to be like, this movie's supposed to be really scary or really funny. That's fine, but do that.
Yes, do that.
Just do it. I said my piece that I liked, but I want to see, because like my big thing is this movie was bad, but it wasn't like abysmal. It was fine, which is maybe more frustrating. But I want to know, is there anything that like worked for you?
This is something that I don't think the film did, but the seeds were there. That is, I think, just a really interesting concept and like useful in our current day and age. And that whole concept of her going back into history to look at the tapestries for guidance and direction and for wisdom, like the wisdom of antiquity, I think is like a really fascinating like theme that could have been explored or part of like the process movie part of how they tackle or handle the big scary unicorns. But I loved that piece, maybe because I'm just like inundated with like all the AI stuff right now and how much like everyone is looking forward to all the things that can happen in the future and the innovation, and just a film that has woven in something around actually we need to also go back and study history and have the humility to go and be students of what has come and led us to this point. I think it's just like really interesting, and the fact that she's the only one that seems to have that intuition or desire or curiosity or passion even to like go back to ancient texts and like art and tapestries for guidance. I think it's just like a really fun theme that could have been like part of the like plot and the entertainment of it all, but also just like even a deeper theme for anyone that wants to think about it. If not, that's okay too. Like she figures out how to like work with the unicorns. But for those that like want to dig a little bit more and see like, man, there is value here, and here's a character that is willing to be a student of history, I just think that would be really cool. So I loved that there was like seeds of that in here. I thought that was neat.
I think you made a great point that I didn't think about. That's really cool. It's almost like the humanities are important or something.
Yeah.
Like,
what a concept.
Well, and Hanna looked into the tapestries, right?
Yeah, the tapestries are real. And they are where they say they are in the movie at the Met Cloisters. But I felt like that part just kind of felt like shoehorned in to give her some knowledge where, like you said, like the seed of it is good, but the execution simply was not. But I do like that it's like based off like a real thing. I thought that was kind of cool knowing that it actually exists. Because I just thought it was made up. My biggest pro of the movie was Shep's unicorn powder drug use. Honestly, that was my favorite part of the whole movie because it made me laugh. Like, it was actually effective at getting me to giggle.
Made him smarter too, maybe.
Yeah. That part was really funny. Like, I mean, if you're gonna be doing it, like, there's a reason people use particular substances, I guess. And in this way, it made him smarter and enlightened, I guess. So you go, Shep.
I love when he turns to his mom. He's like, no, Mom, I'm a genius now, okay?
Yes.
I thought that was so funny because in my mind, I was like, oh, this is like a classic person using a drug and then being like, yeah, I get everything now. And I was reading it as that it wasn't making him smarter. He was just high. Right. And that was like, yeah. It's like, oh, because dude, we should open a bar. Like,
his idea just like isn't that intelligent. So I do think it's
that's
part of that.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. There's like seeds. There's seeds of funny things in here. Usually with him.
Yeah.
Sarah, what about you? A pro?
No, my positive thing is basically the same as you, Jen. I kept thinking about how for, I don't know, years and years now, we've pushed STEM as like the way to go in college, and you have to do STEM. Like, that is the thing. And that was never my thing. I was like, you don't want me doing any science-y stuff. So I definitely went the humanities route. I took art history classes in college. And so I think now in this current moment, though, we need the humanities. Like you said, Matt, the humanities are important. And so that was what I really took away from this is, and I think that there's a way to say those things and make that theme really meet the moment, because I feel like that's where we're at, is we need a little more understanding of humanities. So I think there's a way to weave that into this film with this Eat the Rich theme and make it all make sense. But again, the film just decided not to do that, which is a real shame.
Mhm.
And everyone out there, I'm a structural engineer. I'm in STEM, and I'm telling you, you people, you structural engineers need humanities more than anybody. So
Yeah,
get in there.
it's good.
You engineers in general.
Yeah. I'm curious your theater going experience of this. Did you get laughs in the theater? I got probably 3 laughs total over the course of the movie. And there were like jokes. I think it was just kind of silent, but there were 3 chuckles and 3 laughs moments throughout my theater. I'm curious, did your theater crowd find this funny?
I feel like there were laughs or giggles at
Nice.
points.
Yeah, it was subdued, but it was there. We
But
had
it was there.
a decent crowd.
Okay.
We were in Dolby one, so it was even louder because that's just what the timing was, and can't beat the Dolby theaters. But I would say, yeah, there were some laughs, like when
Yeah.
they were supposed to be, for the
Yeah.
most part. But there wasn't anything crazy, you know. It didn't seem like people cared that much. It wasn't like we saw Hard Eyes in theaters. I don't know if you've seen that. That's recent. And
Yeah.
like there were people going pretty nuts for that movie, which made it even more enjoyable.
Yeah, it
So-
certainly wasn't the crowd response to Hard Eyes or Companion, which we don't love, but we like
Hard Eyes I liked.
enough, I guess.
Yeah.
It certainly wasn't that
level.
level, but it wasn't silent.
Okay. It's a couple chuckles.
Yeah, my theater was pretty empty because I did see it in the middle of the day, but I didn't hear a lot of laughter. My favorite thing though was that there were a couple of older people who were sitting on the same row as me who don't know how to use their inside voice while watching a movie, which was very funny because they would be like, "Oh, are they gonna die? Like, what is gonna happen?" Or like, "Oh, is he gonna snort that?" Like, it was so funny. I was like, "Oh my gosh, can I just like move next to you guys and we can just talk about this
Yeah.
movie while watching?" Like, listening to them was so much fun.
At least it brought you some kind of joy.
It did.
Whenever I see people like that, I just can't wait to be old and give no craps about anything. You know what I mean? Just you're just like
Mhm.
floating through life and like barreling through. I love it.
You can get away with anything, basically.
Yeah, pretty
Really?
much.
Yeah. Or like my lungs
It's like
are
being a
failing.
teenager and being 80. You can just be horrible in public and like mostly get away with it. Because that's the kids. The kids in our theaters are the ones that are terrible, but sometimes they're pretty funny. So like Hard Eyes, they started out awful, and then by the end, I was like, I liked what they were saying. So
The watch along experience. It's great.
yeah.
Okay. Any other last big things about Death of a Unicorn we wanted to mention, rant about?
I've
Before we-
talked more than enough. So Hannah, do you
I
have
feel
anything?
like we've shit on it to
A
an
lot.
appropriate level.
Yes. Yes. We've done a good job. We've done a great job.
I'm
Everybody.
glad.
Pat
I'm glad
ourselves
we're on the same
back.
page. Because if either of you liked this, I would not have known
Yeah.
how to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because to be like, this is a nothing movie, and being like, well, I really liked it, would have been like, it wouldn't have gone over well.
Rough.
It made me feel kind of bad.
Yeah. I know.
And we've had
And, like,
those moments with guests before, so
Yeah.
nobody needs that.
Yes, that is rough. And you know what? Sometimes there's content or like movies or shows that you watch where you can find like 3 things,
Mhm.
3 things to
Mhm.
like talk, come off mute, say your thing about like the 3 things you loved. You know what I mean? You're like, oh yeah, that one song choice in that one scene was great, you know. But this one would have been really hard, really much harder. So I'm
Yes.
glad we were aligned and we could fully unleash all of our opinions. It's great.
So I do have one silly thing to bring to the table. So I have this theory that in movies, if a straight white man is wearing a pinky ring, he is a villain. And I spotted 3 pinky rings in this film.
Whoa.
3.
Yeah. There are
Oh my
3 that I
gosh.
saw. One of them
Oh,
was Shep. dad,
Duh.
of course. So Shep and then his dad were the two men that were wearing pinky rings. And then Jenna Ortega's character was the other one who was wearing a pinky ring. And so I feel like that helps, because my initial hypothesis was anybody who wears a pinky ring in a film is a bad guy. But we've narrowed it to straight white men, villain. And so I feel like this helps support that hypothesis.
Never trust a man in a pinky ring.
In a movie.
Movie. Well, maybe in real life too.
Maybe there are constraints.
I mean...
Yeah, with her, it's just like eclectic. Like she has rings on everything.
So many rings.
It's just a stylistic choice, so it's different. The vibes it gives off are incredibly different than a man with like a single pinky ring.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
She was really cool. Mm-hmm.
I agree. I still think Jenna Ortega needs to get a new agent. Just going to say it.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
She got paid. She got her money. Like, go do something good. You're talented. Maybe take 5 years off even, maybe, and like come back. Like,
she
doesn't
doesn't need to do that.
No, the issue is she just looks really young.
She
She looks really young still, so she's always going to get cast as like high school kids and college kids. It's like,
I worry that she's just one of those people that's forever going to have a baby face.
Maybe like Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Tough. Well, I feel like she's talented though, so like I'd like to see her in something.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, she's a good actress. I feel like she's just in not so great things. And so it's a real shame because you can see like, wow, you can act. There's a lot of skill there. But I would love to see her in something that's actually good or something with really, really good writing. And I don't know, maybe I haven't watched a ton of Jenna Ortega's stuff, but I feel like the ones that I have seen are mediocre movies, which is, it's a real shame.
And we need to see Will in a leading man role soon, or a villain role, something. Like,
oh, he'd be great. He would be so great. He knows how to do
he
it
is just
so well.
so funny, and he cracks me up. And he's like, it's funny because he was kind of like goofy looking before. Now he's like kind of like a handsome looking guy now, and I'm like, he's got some charisma. I was like, get him in a buddy cop movie or something. I don't know, like
yeah, so expressive, so dynamic. The brows are doing work too. In every
yes, they always have been. Always have been.
Yes. Oh, so good. All right. Well, ending this conversation with Will Poulter's eyebrows seems fitting. So this is great.
Yes.
We'll wrap it here. The cherry on top of a great episode where we're just roasting the rest of this movie is good. Well, this was our review and discussion of Death of a Unicorn. You can find it available out in theaters. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Movies and Us. And a big thank you to you both, Matt and Hannah, for joining us and just getting to have fun and hang out. Like, talk about this movie.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. Where can people find more of you, your podcast, your content, you on the socials, on the interwebs?
Yeah, so you can listen to our episodes really wherever podcasts can be found, Apple, Spotify, Amazon. We're also on YouTube. We post a lot of YouTube shorts as well. And then on the socials, you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Horror Hour with the Hannas, and we're also on Blue Sky at Horror Hour.
Love it. We will include all of that goodness, the links, the details for that in the show notes. Make sure to go follow them. They're awesome. Just a really good time. So dynamic together, too. It's great. So go check out more of their content, and we'll include it all in the show notes. All right. Well, our name, Movies and Us, sums it up. We're all about movies and the powerful ways we can connect with each other and the world around us. This podcast is about all of us and our shared stories. So everyone is welcome here, and we're so glad you just spent some time and hung out with us today. You can subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you tune to your favorite shows. Drop us a rating and review, letting us know your thoughts about Death of a Unicorn if you got a chance to watch it. You can connect with us on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at moviesandUsPod, or email us at moviesandUspod@gmail.com. We will be back next week for an episode where we're going to be talking about some of the things that we've been watching over the last quarter, some of the things we're excited for, and just some life updates. So that's actually going to be a collaboration with Melvin from Cinematic Doctrine podcast. Super awesome show, and he edits a bunch of our episodes as well. So that'll be coming out next week. In the meantime, we hope you have an awesome week, and we'll chat with y'all again very soon.